Call this meeting of the Fremont County Board of Commissioners to order. If you'll please rise and join us for an invocation from Joe Garkovich from Mercy Today Ministries, followed by the pledge.
Let us pray. Holy One, we are grateful that we can gather here in this place to do this important work. We are grateful for another day in which we have to serve you. I pray that your blessings upon this group of dedicated individuals grant them courage and compassion and wisdom to do the best things for all the residents of Fremont County. And I also lift up all of our county employees this day and ask you to watch over them and guide them as they go about their work and perform their duties and their tasks this day. And all these prayers I send to you in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall?
Present.
Commissioner Bell?
Present.
Commissioner Grantham?
Here.
County Attorney Bellis?
Present.
County Administrator Carochi?
Present.
Planning and Zoning Director Victoria?
Present.
Thank you. Just approval of the agenda. There's just one quick change, and it's not a big one, but on number 3, under new business, Tracy Benton is here instead of Dan. With that, I would call for a motion to approve the agenda.
Mr. Chair, with that minor change, I move to approve today's agenda as presented.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The consent agenda is next. I have on here a reminder just because I wanted to say this again in another public meeting. We had a special meeting last week, and in that special meeting we scheduled a public hearing for November 26th at 9:30, and that is it's a real long title: Designation of Activities of State Interest by Fremont County to include selection and construction of major new domestic water sewage treatment systems and major extensions of existing domestic water and sewage treatment systems, site selection and construction of major facilities of public utilities, and efficient utilization of municipal and industrial water projects and regulations concerning the same. And in short, that is 1041 powers that we, by the state statute, have the ability to put in place, and our attorneys have been working on those for several months, and we are now ready to have a public hearing on those. So I just want to let everybody know again, November 26th, we will have a public hearing on those orders.
You ready?
Entertain a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda.
I second that, just with a really quick question, because I was conferring with our clerk representative over here about the resolution number. Did you mention the budget public hearing that you were also scheduling?
Not yet. It's in our regular agenda. It's down here.
I'm
Oh, we do have it here too.
Right here as well.
So a proposed budget hearing, and that's yeah, that's kind of weird. That's in 2 places. Our budget hearing will be November 12th at 9:30, and that is for our next year's budget that we will go over and approve.
All right, thank you. With that, I move to second, or I second the motion.
Move to second. It's been moved and
Sorry.
seconded to approve the
It's been a
consent
long
agenda. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. Phew, stumbled through that, right?
Yeah, we did.
Now we get to the administrative and informational. We'll start off with sales and use tax report. Mr. Sean Sutton is here this morning, Budget Finance Officer. Good morning.
Good morning, all.
Good morning,
Morning.
Sean.
Looking forward to November 12th.
Yes.
Yes.
It's been a
thank
long
you.
time
Yes.
coming.
Yeah, yes, that's about right. Year long, yes. So, get into the report. This is our monthly retail sales tax and auto use sales tax collection report for August and September 2024. To begin, retail sales tax for August totaled $818,467, which is $49,612 less than 2023. Year to date, we're at $6,300,984, which is $43,393 less than 2023. We are ahead of budget by $1,984. The next is the auto use sales tax collection for Fremont County's portion, $327,656, which is $100,159 more than 2023. If you'll notice, another strange collection month, same thing as last year, just had a large company transfer a lot of titles. So while unusual, we did experience it each of the last 2 years. We did not budget for that, so you'll see just a slight increase in the overall, but it will not be budgeted moving forward either, as these are kind of one-time occurrences. Year-to-date, we are at $1,304,479. We are $66,463 ahead of 2023, and we're $348,229 ahead of our 2024 budget. Lodging for August totaled $9,599. This is $8,584 more than 2023. Year-to-date, we sit at $175,341, which is $9,522 more than 2023. We do appear to be behind budget year-to-date. However, next month, September, being a quarterly collection and historically our largest, believe that we'll catch up to the overall budget and probably exceed that. So as Commissioner Bella said, over the last couple, we definitely have lots of heads and beds and cars in those parking lots. So that's obviously what we're seeing here in the lodging tax report. Sheriff retail sales tax for August totaled $545,644. This is $33,075 less than 2023. Year-to-date, we sit at $4,200,655, which is $28,923 less than 2023. However, we are ahead of budget by $383,988. Sheriff auto use sales tax collection for September totaled $218,437. This is $66,773 more than 2023. Year-to-date, we sit at $869,654, which is $44,310 more than 2023. And then we are ahead of budget again by $250,904. So overall, pretty much what we've kind of anticipated throughout the year. You'll see 3 out of the last 4 months, sales tax collection-wise, those have been negative numbers, but obviously budgeted appropriately and discussed pretty thoroughly last year. We thought potentially the last quarter or 2 quarters could be a little bit bumpy, just historically based on presidential election, so, and other factors. So, but overall, fairly good numbers, and we remain ahead of budget. So, any questions, concerns?
I have no concerns. I just a comment. You kind of just said it. We try to budget conservatively because we know that the bottom is going to fall out of those sales tax, and we're seeing an indication of that now. Maybe because of the election, but there's a lot of other factors. The economy is really putting a pinch on people. So yep. I think it's important to know that we're trying to do that again for next year with unknowns, and hopefully we'll be okay there. But yeah, spending is definitely dropping.
People are spending all of their money on things like food.
Well said.
And a lot
Prescriptions.
of it.
Yes.
Things that the county does not collect sales tax on.
Yes.
Yeah, and prices have just skyrocketed. Every time you go to the store, you see the effects that have been happening, and there is just less disposable income to go around. So,
Well said.
thank you, Sean.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
All right, next we move to County Administrator's Report. Mr. Tony Croce, good morning.
Morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So we'll start off with our job opportunities that we have posted for the county. We still have a project engineer position that's open until December the 31st. In our Department of Human Services, we have 4 vacancies posted. We have an intake caseworker, 1, 2, and 3, that closes October the 31st. We have an economic security technician position that closes October the 31st. We have a core caseworker position that closes December the 31st, and an ongoing caseworker position that closes December the 31st. In our assessor's office, we have an appraiser position that was posted, and it closes October the 31st also. And in our facilities department, we have a maintenance worker that closes, that position closes, that posting closes October the 28th. For more information about employment opportunities with Fremont County, please visit our county website at fremontcountyco.gov or call our HR department at 719-276-7409. I have an update on the Grandview Bridge project. You can see that we're making headway here. The city water line has been successfully installed, disinfected, and pressure tested. The bridge approach, which is right here, the bridge approach slab concrete pour is scheduled for this Wednesday, tomorrow. The approach slab will be poured against the bridge deck. So, and you can see these rebar, sorry. You can see the rebar here, so that will tie into that rebar. And then the sleeper slab. So this may be a little too technical because I had to look up this term. The sleeper slab is a reinforced concrete block that supports the end of the bridge's concrete approach slab. So again, this is the approach slab. What's that?
That clears it up.
Yeah, that does, doesn't it? So the sleeper slab has been poured and will reside underneath the approach slab. And you can see the concrete forms in the background here. Remaining work, finishing the roadway embankment construction, which is basically raising the grade of the roadway above the level of the existing surrounding ground surface. Let me go to a different picture here. The roadway subgrade preparation, installation of waterproof membrane over the bridge deck. The waterproof membrane provides protection against corrosion. The roadway paving, installing guardrails, striping, and fencing. The expected construction end date is still November the 7th, but there are a lot of tasks that still need to be completed. So, but we're making progress, and as far as we can tell, we're still on progress, or still on point to be done by November the 7th. Veterans Day, we will be honoring our veterans that work for the county at our November the 12th BOCC meeting. In addition, we will be providing a luncheon for them following the meeting. We have 30 veterans employed with Fremont County, and we are very proud and honored to have such a large number of veterans that choose to work as public service for our community. So, very proud of that. So, that's it, Mr. Chair.
You're good. Thank you, sir. Any questions for Tony?
Not a question, but I would just add, Veterans Day does fall on the 11th of November, as every year. That's Monday, the day before we are honoring our veterans. We are closed that day. So just as a reminder, this is our last meeting before then. So we will be closed on that Monday, November 11th.
Thank you. All right, now I'll turn to anyone else up here. Commissioner Bell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just like to lift up Fremont County Search and Rescue and the Canyon City Noon Lions Club. The three of us had the opportunity over the weekend to participate in their trivia contest. It looked as though they did really, really well financially for those two organizations. There were so many teams there. We all had a really great time. I will boast a little bit, and then I will flip that upside down because we came in second. So us and our spouses managed to come in second overall. But the most embarrassing part of the night came when our worst category was actually Fremont County.
Everyone's.
But it was ours as well.
We had one of the high scorers there.
We had like 4 out of 12, so 30%, and we were one of the higher scores. So I just thought I'd confess that and admit that.
In all fairness, those questions were put together by Ed Norton.
This is true.
So.
And Kathy Herron.
And Kathy
together.
Herron, yeah.
Yes. The only other thing I would say real quickly is Halloween is coming up. I know there are a lot of Halloween trunk or treat kinds of events. The Main Street Halloween party that they always have, those are all coming up. Just wishing everyone a very safe and happy Halloween. So take care of those little kids. Whether they're yours or not, take care of those kids.
Trunk or treat is this Saturday. Commissioner Grant.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a reminder, election is quickly approaching. And if you haven't got your ballots in, please do. I've mentioned it before, the ballots they were able to put this on front and back on the ballot so that we were able to avoid a multi-page ballot. It is front and back, but it is not multi-page, thank goodness. There are a lot of state questions. There are, of course, local questions as well, depending on where you live in the county. So please be informed on all those. If you have any questions on any of those, I will not discuss them in detail from up here, even though I think I probably could get away with it. I don't want Thanksgiving dinner to be awkward, so I will avoid giving my opinions up here right now. But I do have opinions on all of them. Feel free to ask. The other thing I would probably like to share, and if you know this gentleman, please feel free to give him a call or give him a shout, send him an email, something, just give him congratulations. And we've done this actually multiple times in this chamber, congratulating this man for the outstanding work that he's done. And he's not in here right now, just up here around the corner. But our coroner, Randy Keller, you remember the work that he's done over the last year with what went on in Penrose. And he's received multiple accolades from various organizations and groups, et cetera, and including from us, and are mentioning to him multiple times that we're glad we don't have his job, especially last year and through this year. But Mr. Keller has actually received another accolade, and this time from the director of the FBI directly. And he received a commendation from him, and it says, "The FBI extends its appreciation for your outstanding assistance in a joint investigative effort. Your contributions were immeasurable, and you have the gratitude of the FBI for all you did to help accomplish the objectives of the investigation. You can be proud of the role you played, and I join my associates with whom you worked in congratulating you on a job well done." Signed, September of 2024, Christopher Ray, Director of the FBI. So again, a thank you to Randy for all of his outstanding work and his crew. There are a whole lot of folks that went into this, put a lot of work into this, and getting us to the point where we're at right now. So thanks to Randy and all of his crew in the coroner's office. So that's it, sir.
Thank you. That's awesome. Congratulations, Randy.
Well deserved.
I just have a couple of quick things. In our meeting last week, our special meeting we also went into stage fire restrictions. So we are in stage 1 fire restrictions. And I'm going to have to tell the sheriff we need to do that much quicker, because every time he goes into the restrictions, it starts raining. So it's pretty good, but it is still really dry out there. So be careful and diligent while you're out there, but know that we are under stage 1 regulations. Those, what particulars those are can be found on our website, Fremont County co.gov. Can't get used to that new one yet. Check those out. And I just want to get on everybody's radar. If you're not aware, and for those millions watching us around the world, I talked to another one yesterday, so they're starting to pile up out there. Black Hills has asked the PUC, Public Utilities Commission, for an 18% increase in electricity for Fremont County residents and Pueblo, everybody else they serve. On November 19th, and I believe it's in the afternoon at City Hall, which I don't think will be big enough, but they will be having a public hearing for that, for the PUC. And I just encourage every resident that uses Black Hills Energy to be at that public hearing, because it is going to affect us all. 18% is huge. We just talked about sales going down, and I think it's because the economy has got the pinch on people, and this is something that we have to have as electricity. But an 18% increase is very huge, and I just Canyon City and Florence are interveners, so they have a seat at the table. They have attorneys that are working against this, as well as Pueblo, and there's some other special districts, gosh darn, excuse me, that are working to try to stop this 18% increase. And we all have a voice with the PUC. You can actually issue comments right now, I think, on on the internet. You can send letters, you can call and they can take phone calls. But I encourage everybody on the 19th to try to carve out a little time and come to City Hall and let the PUC know our feelings on this 18% increase, because it is going to be very hard for a lot of people, all of us, really. That's all I have. Anybody else up here? Anything? Okay, now we come to the part of citizens who wish to address the commissioners on matters not scheduled on the agenda, and I do have one. Mr. John Hamrick. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Thanks for the opportunity. Speaking of energy, I have two subjects I want to talk to you about. We had a recent city council meeting where the executive director of the Public Utilities Commission appeared before us, and one of our council members asked a question that I wanted to pass on to you, make you aware of. It's really rhetorical, but I think as elected officials, we should not lose sight of this. To give you a little background, in 2019, the Colorado Energy Office issued a report promising consumers that if we made large investments in green energy, wind and solar, that we would receive lower energy prices. And the question, this is rhetorical, but one that we should ask at every opportunity, is when will consumers be able to receive and spend that green energy dividend? The other thing I'd like to do is compare and contrast GMAC and Black Hills Energy. Many of you, and I will not point out who I believe this applies to, will remember GMAC. That's General Motors Acceptance Corporation. They were a wholly owned subsidiary of General Motors. They loaned consumers money to buy General Motors products. Black Hills Energy has a wholly owned subsidiary that loans Black Hills Energy money for capital construction projects. And they do so really based on the good faith and credit of their consumer base, of their base of people that they sell electrical energy to. The difference is, comparing and contrasting, is that if you did not make your car payments, General Motors would repossess the car, okay, but if you paid the car payments at the end of the day, the car belonged to you. The Black Hills, when they loan themselves money for capital projects, at the end of the day, their projects belong to them, not to the consumers who have paid for them. And this is really, I think a major flaw in the overall picture of how electric companies are regulated here in this state and elsewhere. The Black Hills in money based on the good faith and credit of the consumers, based on the good faith and credit of the consumers. If they get in financial trouble, they can reorganize to charge whatever debts they're facing off to their consumers. And I just wanted to bring that to your attention, and because it's something that is a hot topic right now.
John,
Thank you.
real
Yes.
quick, in that analogy with Black Hills and GMAC, does Xcel and Tri-State and the other energy producers here in the state, are they in a similar situation, or is Black Hills unique in that?
They are not unique. Black Hills is not unique. This is what the Public Utilities Commission refers to as the compact, which essentially creates a state-approved monopoly operated supposedly in the public interest. And so as a monopoly, they have bankruptcy protection, they have unlimited access essentially to their customers' credit, good faith and credit. And so all of the publicly owned utility companies are in the same boat. But the co-ops are not. Those are actually owned by their ratepayers, and so are in a different boat.
But they are still buying their energy from somewhere, and usually Tri-State.
Tri-State, Black Hills also has an energy arm where they produce and sell electric energy.
So either way, the ratepayer is still at the bottom of the pyramid,
Yep,
the upside-down pyramid.
yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
I forgot to mention when I was talking about Black Hills that we did a resolution a month or so ago in opposition to that 18% increase as well. So we've made it public that we're against it, and they have those on record as part of the public comments. Okay, we'll move on. We have no old business today, so we'll move right into new business, and they changed the resolution to 33. The first order of business is a resolution. It will be number 33, series of 2024, and it's Operation Greenlight to support veterans. This is a really cool initiative that National Association of Counties started a couple of years ago, and we've been talking about it and finally decided to jump on board with it. So there's a week designated in November to honor veterans, and we're going to light up the building in green. We've got some green lights that'll light up the front of the building out here, and it's going to be pretty cool, I think. I'll ask Commissioner Bell if she'll read the resolution, and we'll talk about it and go from there.
Happy to. Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a resolution supporting Operation Greenlight for veterans. Whereas the residents of Fremont County have great respect, admiration, and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served our country and this community in the armed forces. And whereas the contributions and sacrifices of those who served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and way of life enjoyed by our citizens. And whereas Fremont County seeks to honor individuals who have made countless sacrifices for freedom by placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all. And whereas veterans continue to serve our community in the American Legion, veterans of foreign wars, religious groups, civil service, and by functioning as county veteran service officers in 29 states to help fellow former service members access more than $52 billion in federal health, disability, and compensation benefits each year. Excuse me. And whereas approximately 200,000 service members transition to civilian communities annually, and whereas an estimated 20% increase of service members will transition to civilian life in the near future. And whereas studies indicate that 44 to 72% of service members experience high levels of stress during transition from military to civilian life, and whereas active military service members transitioning from military service are at a high risk for suicide during their first year after military service. And whereas the National Association of Counties encourages all counties, parishes, and boroughs to recognize Operation Greenlight for veterans. And whereas the Fremont County Board of County Commissioners appreciates the sacrifices of our United States military personnel and believes specific recognition should be granted. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Fremont County Board of County Commissioners that Fremont County, with designation as a Green Light for Veterans County, hereby declares the month of November 2024, which includes Veterans Day on November 11th, a time to salute and honor the service and sacrifices of our men and women in uniform transitioning from active service. Be it further resolved that in observance of Operation Greenlight, Fremont County encourages its citizens in patriotic tradition to recognize the importance of honoring all those who made immeasurable sacrifices to preserve freedom by displaying green lights in a window of their place of business or residence throughout the month of November 2024.
Thank you. Like I said, it's just an awesome thing, and I hope everybody will take part in that.
Absolutely, yes.
Commissioner Grantham?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Commissioner Bell. This is going to be kind of cool, honestly, and
really
at least in our small part in celebrating this. And I know we have worked on. We got some equipment, special equipment, just for this celebration, and we're going to be able to obviously reuse that. It's not just a one-timer thing, but this is going to be a really cool visual display of our support of our veterans. And we hope that it will catch, and that everybody will, as it mentions here in the resolution, that people will do that with us in November in honoring our veterans. It's a simple display. You can pick up a bulb just about anywhere with the right color, and please join us in this and supporting our veterans. I really appreciate my colleagues and their steadfast support for our veterans over the years, and I know that's been our focus, certainly at least before and since I've been here, especially trying to get this VA clinic here. Process that we initiated a couple years ago, and trying to get our congressional representative on board and helping us do that. And so, we are still working towards that in the VA clinic, and all the events that we have in supporting our veterans, and this is just one more visual display and recognition of all the great things our veterans have done for us and our country.
I do feel the need to say that when Commissioner Grantham says we have been working very hard on this display, he really means our facilities department.
That is true.
So kudos to
That is
those
true.
folks, because they've done an incredible job. I think they have a great plan put together, and we're all very excited to be able to turn these lights on November 1st. So make sure that you drive by this county building sometime after dark to get the full effect during the month of November.
It gets dark at 4:30, so
Kind of does.
you won't have to be that late. Yeah, we can't thank them enough and honor them enough, so that's the least we could do. I'd entertain a motion.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move to approve Resolution Number 33, Series of 2024, Operation Greenlight to support veterans.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 33, declaring Fremont County as Operation Greenlight support veterans in November. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, we move on to item number 2. We have a presentation by the Senior Service Solutions Plus. We have Patty Cedillo here and Cheryl Gold.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here for support.
Sport team.
Oops. First of all, I'll introduce myself. My name is Patty Cedillo. I'm the Executive Director of Senior Services Solutions Plus here in Canyon City.
Thank you.
This is Cheryl Gould. She is the Vice President on our Board of Directors. And I would like to thank you for allotting us this time to speak with you. My mission is kind of twofold. First being to introduce us and let you know who we are. We began in 1984 when members of 3 local churches collaborated to assist elderly residents of the county with their needs and enable them to live independently in their own homes. In 1987, a board of directors was elected, and Friendly Visitors was incorporated as a 501c3 nonprofit. The name changed to Senior Services Solutions Plus. From now on, I'll refer to it as SSSP, thank you, in 2009. Over time, our mission has narrowed to concentrate on providing non-emergency transportation for Fremont County adults to medical, dental, and optical appointments. We have been in continuous operation for 40 years in the county. So, like I said, we're one of the lesser known, but one of the oldest charitable organizations that's been in operation the longest here. Our drivers are all volunteers from the community. I think our youngest one just turned 60, so we're all that age. The drivers use their own vehicles to transport clients, and they're paid a stipend depending on the destination of the trip. We transport within Fremont County, and we transport to Pueblo and to Colorado Springs. So in 2020, Colorado law regarding Medicaid reimbursement changed and was outsourced to a company called Intellaride that operates out of Omaha, Nebraska. And as of 2020, we are no longer reimbursed for Medicaid clients' trips. We're fortunate to have a grant from the City of Canyon that we've received every year so far. It's a reimbursable or reimbursed grant, I guess is the way you'd refer to it. We submit vouchers or submit paperwork receipts to them for the Canyon City residents that we've transported, and then every month they write us a reimbursement check. So that's been fortunate. But for Fremont County Medicaid clients, we have no reimbursement at all. And so that's causing us, and sometimes they don't have any other recourse but to use us. And the reason why I say this, I know you've seen the vehicles around town, MedRide. And MedRide is a for-profit company They are reimbursed by IntelliRide for Medicaid rides. They use paid drivers and fleet vehicles. We have seniors who use their own vehicles. One of the differences between us and MedRide is that ours is one-on-one, door-to-door service. Our driver picks the client up, takes them to their appointment, waits with them, and then brings them back when the appointment is done. So they don't have to worry about sitting there waiting to call for another ride and maybe get picked up, maybe not. MedRide, you call for a trip to the appointment, they take you, then when your appointment's through, you call again. We've had several different clients and even a provider tell us that sometimes they don't get picked up. And one provider in Pueblo, he had to send his staff member to bring one of the clients home because nobody ever came for her, for MedRide. Our volunteers, we take several of our clients to appointments at Retina Eye Center or Retina Consultants in Pueblo, either for laser treatments for diabetic retinopathy or for injections due to macular degeneration. When they come out of those appointments, their vision is very iffy. They don't have any depth perception a lot of times. They need a steady arm to steady them. Our volunteers will do that. MedRide drivers, MedRide has a no contact policy. They're on their own. So even though they may be on Medicaid, they may choose us because they know they've got that personal service. The other company that operates in Fremont County is Fremont Transit. I think it's under the auspices of the Golden Age. I'm not certain about that. But for example, our service, we charge $30 to Pueblo West, $30 to Pueblo Central or other areas of Pueblo. Fremont Transit charges $50 to Pueblo. Our service charges $40 to Colorado Springs south of Fillmore and $50 to Colorado Springs north of Fillmore. Fremont Transit charges $55 to anywhere in Colorado Springs. Our trips from western Fremont County, Cotopaxi, et cetera, we have clients up in Copper Gulch and Cotopaxi. Those are more because of the distance of travel. And basically what we charge is exactly what's paid to our driver as a stipend. It basically covers their gas and expenses. So those are higher, but I'm not sure if Fremont Transit even goes to Cotopaxi. I haven't been able to determine whether they even go up that far to pick people up. So our Fremont County trips that we made for clients that are not Canyon City residents so far in 2024 have been averaging $800 a month. So when you average it out, that comes to $9,600 per year and that we're not getting reimbursed for. And we're fortunate to have some grants. Grants have been very slow this year because a lot of people have been requesting grants from the various philanthropic organizations and they only have so much money to go around. So we had a pretty lean season so far on grants. And, you know, we're at a place where we need to revisit this. And it's very, very difficult for me to think of a time when we're going to have to say no more to some of these people because they don't have any other recourse and I don't know what to do. So second part of this is kind of to appeal to the county to see if you might have some funding available or a way to budget for some funding that might help to reimburse us for some of these county Medicaid clients. And Cheryl passed out a copy of our brochure to each of you. And then also inside is it's an email blast that our treasurer put together for us to blast our representatives. I can't remember, one of them is Stephanie Luck, and I can't remember the other one's name right now, but anyway, we're going to blast them. We're going to have our board send them emails. We're going to see if some of our clients who are on computers can send them emails, and our staff will as well. So that's
to get that waiver changed.
To try to get a waiver for us to where we could be reimbursed from Medicaid. So far working with the state and working with IntelliRide is a no-go. So I don't know whether this will work or not. But anyway, that was my appeal to you, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for your presentation. You answered my question that I had underlined here, is how you'd reached out to the state legislators. I think we can probably help on that end as well.
Okay,
and,
great.
And lend our voice to those, and hopefully get that changed. And I have a question about your brochure. You said that your drivers were like 60 years old. This dog driving does not look 60.
He could be
Actually-
60 in dog years.
Yeah, in my defense, that brosure was put together before my
Was
time.
it? It's kind of cool. It
was
says
pretty
that
cute.
our drivers and clients become best friends.
Yeah.
And that's the deal of that, so that's pretty cool.
Right.
Do you all have a specific ask as far as the amount that you're looking
You
at?
know, at this point, anything would help. As I said, it's costing us about $9,600 a year, which I know is pretty steep, but anything would help to help reimburse us so that we can keep serving our clients that are in the Fremont County area.
Keeping our doors open.
Yeah, keep our
Is
doors
that
open.
9,600 total, or,
It's an average, yeah, 9,600 per year average. We're averaging about 800 a month.
but what I mean is for city residents and outside the city?
No,
We're talking about
that's
total.
only for Fremont County residents that don't reside in the
Okay.
city of Canyon.
Okay, that's what I
And one of the reasons that is because 2 of our clients live in Cotopaxi. So, you know, when they come into here, when they go to Colorado Springs, it's higher, you know, because we're having to transport them. One of our clients in Florence is on dialysis, so she goes to Pueblo West 3 times a week because our Fresenius dialysis closed here in Canyon. And so she has to go to Pueblo 3 times a week. And so those are the kind of main drain on our finances, you know, right there, because they live outside, they're on Medicaid, but, you know, getting reliable transportation other than us is just not an option for them. So,
Okay.
And I've had experience with my own sister having to had wait or no-show for her medical appointments through MedRide. So it is a real big concern. Also, our treasurer has reached out to the representatives with no return phone call. So we've even gone that far. So we're going to try blasting with emails. But if you could help us with that, that would be
that would be
awesome.
wonderful.
Yeah. It's a small staff of 2. It's
Yeah.
not a heavy loaded operation,
And we have 2 part-time employees, me and a coordinator, and that's it.
part-time.
So, and we're part-time.
So I would venture to say that many of the folks who are listening today have never heard of you, did not know the services that you provided. So I would like to give you the opportunity to tell people how they can contact you if they want to be a driver, if they maybe want to donate, if they need to set up a ride, if you could let them know how you can get in touch with them.
Absolutely. It's on our brochure, but we are located in the East Canyon Hall, which is at 321 North Cottonwood. It's a block and a half north of the VFW or McDonald's, either way. Our email address is friendlyvisitors@hotmail.com. We kept the same email address for the last 40 years. So friendlyvisitors@hotmail.com. Our phone number is 719-275-3900. And my name is Patty. I'm the director. Our coordinator's name is Ruth. She's the one that usually answers the phone because she coordinates all the drivers with the clients, so keeps the schedule going
And your office hours are Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to noon.
from 8 to noon.
So don't show up
correct.
at 2 and expect someone to be there.
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
But if they call after office hours, we do have a voicemail that they can leave a voicemail.
Okay, thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having us.
Thank
And
you.
there are some extra flyers on the table.
Oh,
for
wonderful. We'll
Great.
have
the
those
audience
available.
if they want to get one.
Thank you.
Okay,
Great.
thank you
Thank you.
again.
Thank you.
All right, item number 3 on the agenda is a temporary use permit 24-0016, 950 Junkton. The owner applicant is requesting a temporary use permit to allow Vintage Flea Market on November 9th and 10th, 2024. The event will be conducted on private property owned by the applicant, Daniel and Tracy, I take it, Vinton. It's expected to be 15 vendors and 2 food trucks each weekend. It's estimated a maximum of 43 attendees at one time. The street address is 43880 West US Highway 50. It's up on top of 8 Mile, McCanyon City, and we have Tracy here this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Tracy.
Thank you. Hi, again.
So we approved a temporary use permit because you had a couple of events. You're just trying to add a couple of dates here, right?
Right, so you had approved originally the four, the September, 3 September and 1 October on the first temporary use permit, and now I'm asking for one more this year for November 9th and 10th. Everything is the same as before, except this one's called Vintage Christmas.
Oh, that does make a difference.
Yes,
You
it
have to
does.
tell
That
people
changes.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions for her right now?
Just a really quick question, I guess. If you're coming back for an additional weekend, it sounds as though the others have been pretty successful so far.
Yes, I would say 3 out of the 4 were good. We had kind of awkward weather in September one weekend. So I think that kind of was a little bit of a deterrent for people coming out, but the other 3 were good. And so we are packed inside with vendors, no outside vendors for this November 9th and 10th. So we've got 10 inside.
All right. Thank you.
Anticipating the snow, are you?
Yes.
No, just it might be a little chilly.
Yeah.
Well, there is nothing like snow to support,
The
Christmas spirit, so.
Can I get a staff report, please? Mr. Dan?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Yep, so today we have TUP 24007 for Junction. This is a vintage Christmas event. It's going to be held on November 9th and 10th. Let's see here. It is located at 43880 Highway 50 up on top of 8 Mile. This is the second time Junction has applied for a temporary use permit and has satisfied the department's requirements. Let's see, I'm trying to see if there's anything different than last time, which there's not. They've met the requirements of the health department. They are requesting let's see here. They're requesting a waiver of the surety bond. And since this is identical to the last one that was approved, the department recommends approval of the temporary use permit with the waiver of the surety bond.
Thank you, sir. I have temporary permit 24-016. You said a different number.
Yeah, stand by real quick. Hopefully.
I'm looking through the application as well right here, trying to find out. We need to get that clarified before we.
Yeah, I will have that clarified in a second. Hopefully I have not made an error. If I did, of course, that's my first one ever.
The staff report says 007. That's what he was reading, I think, but.
Yeah, I read this.
I'm looking at the.
Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm sorry. Sir, you are correct. That would be TP 24-016.
Okay.
My apologies.
Thank you. Any questions for Dan?
No.
Or otherwise, I would entertain a motion.
Well, Mr. Chair, I would move that we approve temporary use permit 24-016 for 950 Junction for this temporary use permit for the Vintage Flea Market on November 9th and 10th, 2024. Location at 43880 West US Highway 50, Canyon City.
And does this
waiver.
motion include a waiver?
Includes the waiver of that surety bond.
Okay, I will second that.
That's been moved and seconded. Approve TUP 24-00 or 016 for 950 Junction with a waiver of a surety bond. Is there any further discussion?
Just wish you lots of luck. Hope it goes well.
Thank you, and I'd like to invite you all to come out November 9th and 10th from 10 to 4 both days.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on, item number 4, temporary use permit 24-015, Penrose Apple Shed. It's a fundraiser dinner murder mystery and silent auction located at 708 Fremont Avenue, Penrose, Colorado. This is a one-time event held at the Apple Shed on October 25th, starting at 5 and ending at 9. We have Sam Banning here. Good morning.
Hi, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Appreciate you rushing this through for me. This is a big fundraiser that we're doing, probably one of the biggest we've done. We've done a lot of fundraising over the years, but We have put a roof on somebody's house back in June, and we found out what a need for it and all the applicants we've got. So we're doing it again. We cannot ask Centerline to keep giving these free roofs, so we're compensating them so we don't run them off, basically, run them into bankruptcy, right? But they have committed to keep doing these roofs for us. It's a great thing for Fremont County, and we're hoping to really have a great outcome on this. We've got a lot of community support. We've accepted a lot of donations at this time for the silent auction, and there's going to be a lot more coming. We look for, if this works out, to do more fundraising for different things, but we're definitely working on this right now. What kind of questions can I?
That's really cool. I appreciate what you're doing for that. It is, putting a roof on is not a cheap venture.
No, it's not.
And for those that don't have the money, yeah, it gets hard.
No money, no insurance.
Right.
The roof we put on is an 80-year-old man that's taking care of his disabled granddaughter. And we also painted that house for him, fixed his fence, painted his walkway. Every time I go there, he talks to me into something else, so I had to quit going. So we have rebuilt most of his outside of the house, but it looks great. We're proud to do it, so we're going to keep it going.
How did those individuals find you, or how do you decide who's?
On social media, we put it out on social media. We put it out on print ads. If you know somebody, a neighbor that's in need, contact us at the office. We have a PR committee that looks at all the applicants. We drive by there, make sure it's what we're looking for, and then we choose from there.
Very cool.
So that's how it's vetted, yeah.
Would you like also to give contact information for folks who are looking for those types of help? How can they contact you and maybe get on your radar?
Yes. Well, on the flyer there, you can call the office. Home Smart office is the best way to do it.
Okay.
Or contact me directly. Yeah. 719-281-5331. Yeah.
Thank you.
And we've done fundraising for the last 6 years, but this is one of the biggest things we've done, and
Sounds like a lot
very
of fun.
excited about it.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Sam at this time?
Nope.
Staff report, please, sir.
All right, everyone, I verified this is the correct file number for this one. We have TUP 24-015, Penrose Appleshed. This is going to be for our fundraiser, dinner, murder, mystery, and silent auction. The location is 708 Fremont Avenue in Penrose. This is a one-time event at the Appleshed on October 25th, starting at 5 p.m. and ending at 9 p.m. The properties around the event are primarily agricultural and business. Drinking water will be provided to guests free of charge. The vendor will be Chicago Bob's, providing dinner. For sanitation, they have fully running restrooms on the property, and they have a dumpster on site. For the emergency plan, the Florence Fire Station number 2 will respond to emergencies. We have an approved fire protection plan signed off by Chief Bill Ritter. Access will be off of Fremont Street. Agency comments, FCDOT just requested that any debris or trash is to be cleared at the completion of the event from roads or right-of-ways, if there happens to be any, and that no roads or right-of-ways are blocked. The applicant has renewed the permits they had with the building department for some structures on the property, so that is okay. Let's see, the health department, Chicago Bob's is a current vendor in good standing. Insurance has been provided. They are requesting a contingency. They're requesting, they are requesting a waiver, which we recommend as a contingency item, which would be the surety bond. And having found the application is in compliance with the requirements of the Fremont County zoning resolution, staff recommends approval of this TUP, providing there is the approval of the waiver of the surety bond. And that is all I have.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for Dan?
Nope.
Would entertain a motion?
Sure, Mr. Chair, I'm ready for that. I move to approve TUP 24-015 for the Penrose Appleshed for the fundraiser, dinner, murder, mystery, and silent auction. This will be located at 708 Fremont Avenue in Penrose. The one-time event will be held at the Appleshed on October 25th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And this motion does include the surety bond waiver.
She had to include that in there, so I couldn't,
You couldn't ask.
I had to, yes.
anyway, I'll second that.
She did hesitate. Has been moved and seconded to approve TUP 24-015 for Penrose Apple Shed. Any further discussion with the surety bond waiver? Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Hope it
Hope
goes
to
well.
see some of you guys out there, really.
Thank you.
It might be kind of interesting, might be kind of fun.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. All right, item number 5, temporary use permit 23-002, Marshan Ranch Wedding and Event Center, requesting extension of a temporary use permit. Good morning, Tiffany and
Good morning.
Matt with us.
Hi, Matt.
I'm Matt Koch with Cornerstone Land Surveying. We are here to request an extension for the TUP for Marshan Ranch Wedding and Event Center. We did submit the SRU application. The TUP expired after we had submitted that, so we are requesting extension to get through the SRU application that we have submitted. There were some concerns regarding the highway access permit. Dan can probably fill you in on more of that. He did speak with CDOT. We did submit an engineered roadway impact analysis form as part of our application, and it shows and states that the level of service for that intersection will not change based on our impact in our SRU. Considering that, Dan sent over some information regarding the regulations that it's up to the board or the department to require more information, and I assume that means go to CDOT and get an access permit or what have you. So that's another question we'd like to ask today is first off the extension, and then secondly, the level of the CDOT access permit that you would like us to try to fulfill there, or if we already have 2 access permits to the county road through Fremont County, if those would be enough to get us through that. So.
Okay. Questions as of yet?
Not at this time.
Can you get a staff report, Dan, please?
All right, yep. So what we have here is a request for an extension of a TUP. Their second extension, or the first extension request that we had granted is set to expire on October 25th of 2024. So this extension request is to go from October 25th of 2024 until the end of the SRU process, so there's not a lack of permitting for this project. So that is the request we have at hand.
To what date?
It expires 10/25, and it depends how long it takes for us to navigate through the SRU process. We have, last week, we supplied a deficiencies and comment letter to the applicant, so they know what the department needs to be changed in order for it to be sufficient to be presented. So I do not have an official end date. It's as long as it takes for us to work through the paperwork. Typically a couple months.
Okay. So the question that Matt kind of asked was the access permit. I actually talked to CDOT yesterday too on this part of it. Our regulations show that anything outside of 500 feet doesn't have to go to that. That is, how that got in our regulations, I have no idea. That doesn't apply really. CDOT has a 550 clause in the law, but that's an intersection cannot be 550 feet from another intersection, 550 feet. So that doesn't apply up here at all. Since we're in the middle of changing the regulations, we've actually had the conversation of taking that out of our regulations. However, the CDOT, by law, if there's a 20% change in traffic impact or a safety or operational concern, that's when they require a traffic, I just lost it, a traffic impact study. Okay?
Your favorite word.
Yeah, study. I hate studies. So their concern is the access being so close to the blind corner, as we all know, which is just north of the access. So that's where I had Attorney Ballas here kind of check into this a little bit more, and I'll turn it over to you, sir, if you want to get a little more in the weeds on that.
Sure. The regulations really come from the Colorado Administrative Code. Whenever I see anything in the administrative code, my first question is, well, does the statute give the agency the authority to make those rules and regulations that then they expect everybody to follow? In this case, in fact, the statutes do that. Chapter 43 of the revised statutes deals with transportation. And with this issue very specifically, the statute authorizes and directs the department to develop those rules. The rules are fairly complex, but basically any time the department believes that a traffic study is necessary because of the condition of the roadway. And in this roadway, it occurs to me that there are several things that the department may be legitimately concerned about. One is that we have a rural highway with speed limits that are at or above likely the design limit of the road. So the question really becomes, do they need to do anything? Are there any regulatory actions CDOT may need to take as a result of the additional traffic? They wouldn't know that unless they required the study. So that's, unfortunately, the statute authorizes the rules provide that they have that discretion. And in this case, there's a reason for it, and that is sort of the rural nature and the proximity to that large, strangely radiused curve just north of the event center. So that's the reason. The last time we had this, and I've had concerns about how long it might take to do that, but we did have this issue come up with someone else who was required by CDOT to do a traffic study on Highway 50. And from not knowing what a traffic study was to submitting that traffic study took about 6 weeks. So in terms of timeline, that's our recent experiences. That is something that we've had recent experience with, timeline taking about 6 weeks.
And so that goes back to what he told me was an engineered traffic study. You're familiar with that, right?
Right.
That's where that stands as of right now. It was confusion for all of us, actually. And like I said, that 500, I've always kind of lived by the 500-foot thing. Well, it actually doesn't mean anything. Because even if it's a mile off of Highway 9, they could still, if it's going to impact that access, still have a demand for that access. The study. God, I don't like that word so much that I can't remember it. I just don't like studies. So I hope that answers your question.
I believe so. The next question would lead to, since it's a county road, we'll be submitting the access permit on behalf of Fremont County to acknowledge that as a county road. Does the county have anything that they could help us out with? We're going to have to do traffic counts. We're going to have to do quite a bit of effort into that. Do you have traffic counters we could use or anything of that nature that would help us, through that journey?
And it's not cheap.
Maybe. Maybe.
Okay.
We have to check on that with Road and Bridge Department to see what they have. I believe they do have a counter.
Okay. That would help tremendously.
Yeah.
'Cause that's where a lot of the cost will come is what it used to be is guys sitting in lawn chairs counting cars as they go by. And so.
I always thought, what a terrible job.
I know, yeah.
Especially in November.
Yeah. Yeah, we can get with Department of Transportation. If you could follow up on that, Dan, I'd appreciate it.
Yep, I could certainly reach out to them. My discussions with CDOT, I guess FCDOT has already completed the application for the county road access onto the state highway as much as they can without numbers, without
And
data.
you have that, correct?
We have a copy of that.
Yep.
Right.
So they have managed to do that, but I can absolutely reach out to FCDOT and see if they have any resources.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys for checking into that.
Sure.
It's great information to have.
It is for all of us, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been banking on that 500 thing.
We have.
This whole time, and
Yeah.
then CDOT basically tells us so.
Yeah.
And I think there was another instance we were talking about where it was outside of the 500 foot and CDOT wanted to do it, and that applicant actually talked to CDOT and they decided not to do one there. Well, that is because they have data for the intersection that leads to that. There is no data for this one, so they need data to start with. So each instance is going to be a little bit different. When there's data available, it makes it a different decision. So, then before us today, we do have this temporary use permit to extend that, which obviously you need that, especially more now maybe than before. But that's what we're talking about here, and I hope we answered those questions. And I'm sure you can still work with Dan if anything else comes up. And Commissioners.
I have a couple of questions for Dan, if I may. First of all, this is the first permit ever brought before us asking for no specific time frame with that to end of permit process. Have we ever done that before?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Second question I have is, do you happen to know the date of the original first temporary use permit for this property?
Yes, so we approved the first TUP on 4/25 of '23 to operate from 4/25/23 to 4/25/24. We then had an extension request and approval on 4/23/24 for a 6-month extension to operate from 4/25/24 to 10/25/24, so there would be no gaps in permitting. And then we have today's request to try and cover and make sure that we don't lapse.
Okay.
I think the difference is they do have an SRU submitted
This time.
this time.
Right. Okay, I'm sure Tiffany remembers the same questions last time. I actually went back into the archives and I looked again, I watched that particular part of the last meeting that was back on April 23rd. And I know at the time you had said, and this just made me chuckle, you were super willing to comply, and I'm like, yes, she is. Yeah, and so, but I also talked at that time about continuing to extend a temporary use permit by very definition, which is temporary. And here we are again, 18 months after the first temporary use permit was allowed. And so I'm not quite sure how I feel about that, extend to the end of the permit process, but as Commissioner Grantham just pointed out, we actually do have an application now, so that might make a difference for me.
I'm trying ridiculously hard, but I can only snap the whip so hard. And it is not in my wheelhouse to be an engineer.
Nor mine.
So I literally have text messages starting 4/25, getting his approval to take this project on. And about a bazillion, he would probably like to shoot me, asking, begging, pleading, what can we do to get it done? But there's only so much that I can do. I know that Dan knows, and I know that most of you know, that I have been incredibly on top of this project. I built bathrooms that were needed within 6 months. So believe me, I am trying very hard to make sure that this comes to fruition.
Okay.
It absolutely matters to me.
All right, thank you.
Anything else? Just thinking really hard over here.
Yeah. And we do have our engineers working on it, and that's where a lot of the delay has come, is just trying to work through the issues on all that. So they are working on what's required, and then now with this CDOT stuff, we can proceed with that and make sure we get that going.
Okay, thanks, Matt.
The only thing I'm thinking on, it's the same thing that Debbie mentioned, is the open-endedness of a temporary use permit. When you have an open-ended, no expiration, even though we have 2 extensions here now, including this one, they had a definite ending date, which at least gave us some semblance of still being able to call it temporary. And so I guess I'm just struggling with the open-endedness of this.
If we go to a 6-month, just as kind of a standard, just thinking through CDOT, if CDOT comes back with requirements, we may need additional time to put signs up or whatever they're needing done. So 6 months would help us out in that respect. We hope to have everything done in just a few months, but just considering what potentially could happen with CDOT,
Well,
the additional may be good.
I'm guessing you would like to have it done in, yesterday, not in a few months. And 6 months, I don't know what the right answer is as far as the time frame.
Neither do I, but I will admit one of my concerns is setting a precedent. and saying, sure, we'll issue you a TUP that will never end.
Agreed.
That is a problem for me.
And I think we've expressed that before. We don't,
Sure.
yeah.
I think that 6 months would be fair. And then also, I might just add that when I first started this project, it was recommended by Dan, but also because of previous things that he had done with Howard Creek, that's in your guys' jurisdiction. They did 3 years of TUPs, and then they did their SRU. I'm well under that. And so I understand that we're trying to guinea pig this out of the books and make it correct and all of those things, but I also think it's fair to note that I am a year and a half ahead of schedule for what you've already done in the past. And I'm actively very much trying to get it done. And I think what Matt's trying to say is I think we can get it done in 6 months. I think we can get it done in 3, as long as I can keep people doing what I'm asking.
Well, there's no guarantee for that. We understand that. So I would say 3 months from us would be a little short-sighted, but I might be happier with 6.
And I'm fine with that. But just so you know, on Howard Creek, it's kind of the exception that proves our rule. That's why we don't want to go down that path.
Agreed.
And they didn't set a standard, and we're not trying to make it a standard.
Right.
To go 3 years.
They did apply for 3 separate TUPs. It was just 3 consecutive years before we realized, hey, this isn't a temporary thing anymore. This needs permitting. So, but it was 3 separate TUPs, not extensions of 1.
Which is a difference. Okay.
Well, to not further prolong this, how about a motion?
I'm ready for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the extension for TUP 23-002 Marchand Ranch Wedding and Event Center for an extension of 6 months to an expiration date of, would it be 4/25/25? Correct?
Correct.
4/25/25.
I second that.
Man, that was fast, okay. It's been moved and
Wake up.
seconded to approve TUP 23-002 Marchand Ranch and Wedding Event Center with an expiration date of April 25, 2025. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Good luck out there.
Thank you.
Item number 6 is to schedule a special Board of County Commissioners meeting at 9 o'clock, which is a Tuesday, December 17th, for the following agenda items. There will be a resolution summarizing the expenditures of each fund and adopting a budget of the Fremont County, Colorado, the County of Fremont County, Colorado, the calendar year beginning the first day of January 2025 and ending the last day of December 2025. We'll have Sean Sutton, Budget and Finance Officer here, as well as a resolution levying general property tax for the year 2024 to help defray the cost of government and county, for the County of Fremont, Colorado, for the budget year 2025. Again, Sean will present that. And then a resolution appropriating sums of money to various funds and spending agencies in the amount and for the purpose set forth below of the County of Fremont of Colorado for the 2025 budget year beginning January 1st, 2025, ending December 31st, 2025. Again, Sean will present that. And the last item would be a certificate of levies and revenues, again, presented by Sean Sutton. That would, again, be on December 17th, 2024 at 9 o'clock for a special board meeting to do the budget.
Mr. Chair, I would just note, this is something we have to do every year. It's because of the time frame of our normal board meetings, not meeting until the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of each month. But there are time frames that are set by the state that we are unable to meet the deadlines if we hold this off to a regular meeting. So this is nothing new or unusual. We do this every year. So with that, Mr. Chair, I move to schedule the special Board of County Commissioners meeting at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, December 17th, with the 4 agenda items as presented.
And I will second that, just adding on, as Commissioner Bell mentioned, the necessary pieces of what we have to do in order to be able to receive and spend money.
Yes.
All of these are the pieces of the puzzle that basically authorizing ourselves to operate Fremont County government with the funds we collect and the funds we need to expend. And so I will second that motion.
Thank you. It has been moved and seconded, and I do want to mention that when I opened the meeting in the consent agenda, we do have a public hearing scheduled for November 26th for the budget, and I think at that time I said to approve the budget. We will not approve it that day. It's just the public hearing. This meeting that we now have a motion on is when we will approve that budget. So the public hearing is the 26th of November, and
The public hearing is November 12th.
Correct.
I'm sorry, November 12th. And then this meeting is December
17th.
pagers, December 17th. So, any further discussion?
It is as clear as mud now.
Yes,
I'm
it is.
quite certain.
Roll call, please. I just went the wrong language.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thanks. I think that's all we have. We have too many papers up here. Yes, no more business before us. We are adjourned.